A special education needs teacher plays a very crucial role since they support children with disabilities who have very unique and diverse needs to be able to access to learning in a classroom, and hence it is important to talk about what is needed to make this teaching learning process possible. Trait number one for a special education need teacher is collaboration. To be able to support the child meaningfully, it is important for the special education need teacher to collaborate with various stakeholders who are very important for the teaching learning process, whether it is the parent, whether it is the teacher, the school administration, and of course the most important stakeholder, which is the child itself, to be able to support the child and plan further for the teaching learning process. The number of stakeholders the special education teacher collaborates starts right from the beginning, which is the child, to be able to collaborate and understand with curiosity from the child as to what are the needs of the child, to collaborate with the parents to understand how they view their child and what are their hopes for the process for the child, to collaborate with the teachers to align with the objectives, the learning objectives, all the classroom and the needs of the child, to collaborate with the leadership of what can be possible in the school system to support the child. In that way, the special educator has multiple roles of collaboration and working collectively to be able to support the child with diverse needs. The second trait a special education teacher needs to have is acceptance. When we talk about acceptance as a trait for a special education teacher, it is important to understand the acceptance as a whole, the child as a whole, accepting the child as a whole, including the strengths of the child. Very often than not, we focus on the barriers and the difficulties that the child is facing. It is important to understand that, but also important to accept the child as a whole. When we talk about acceptance, we talk about dignity and respect of the child. How are we communicating with the child, which is giving the child a feeling of acceptance and a feeling of belonging in the classroom. When we talk about acceptance, it is important to be open-minded, to listen with curiosity and to be aware of our own assumptions. When we listen with curiosity, we come to know a lot more about the child, which can support in the entire teaching learning process. The third trait that a special education needs teacher needs to possess is creativity. When we talk about creativity, it is creativity in all aspects, whether it is building relation with the child, planning a lesson, or also during the lesson if something goes differently, how a special education needs teacher brings in creativity with lot of fun and joy to make the whole process of teaching and learning engaging for the child. Creativity becomes very, very important as each child is very different with respects to their needs, with respects to the way they access learning. They are diverse in the way they engage and they respond to each and every context. It is important for the special education needs teacher to be mindful of all these needs of the child in terms of diversity of how they learn and be creative to bring in that during their strategies when they are planning for the classroom or whether they are planning for their one-on-one session. Fun becomes the most important part when we talk about creativity, and fun could be different for different children. For example, you may use dance in your class, or you may use poetry, or you may use drawing. So bringing in these aspects in your teaching and learning, and I think it's also very important to have fun yourself, because the children are very sensitive. They gauge where the teacher is coming from. So that if the teacher is having fun, it will be possible for the child to have fun, and it is important to bring this creative aspect in the teaching learning process to make learning more engaging. The fourth trait is planning and organization. Planning is extremely crucial from the time you start thinking about supporting children with diverse needs in the classroom. A lot of children with diverse needs, they don't like surprises. So it is important to plan in a very detailed manner to be able to support the child in the classroom. When we talk about planning, it is planning the environment. It is planning how the placement of the class will be. It is important to even plan how the entire day of the child will look like. This gives a lot of structure to the child, which is important. A lot of children with diverse needs, they work with structures. Structures support them. Sometimes you may go with the best of plan and the child's needs are very different on that particular day. It is important to be flexible, to be curious, to be respectful of the child's need on that particular day, and to be flexible in your planning. When we talk about organization, it is important to keep things ready. These may seem very small, but they help a lot when we are talking about children with diverse needs. Simple things like keeping your material ready, keeping your worksheets ready, organizing the classroom, putting labels in the classroom. These could be things that could be very helpful when it comes to organization to support the child with diverse needs. The fifth very important trait that a special education needs teacher needs to have is to be calm and patient. Children with diverse needs work at different paces, and this may be very different from their colleagues in the classroom. This might cause a lot of stress and anxiety for them. To be able to make them feel safe in the classroom, it is important for the special education needs teacher to be calm and to be able to provide that safety to the child so that they can respond in a way that is less anxious and they feel safe in the entire process of teaching and learning. Many a times, the stress and anxiety they experience in the classroom may manifest in different behaviors. Behaviors are nothing but ways to respond for a child. To be able to understand these needs which are manifesting in the form of behavior, a special education needs teacher needs to be calm and understanding and patient towards the child so that the environment is safe and we can respond to those behaviors and the needs that the child is communicating through that behaviors in a safe manner. Sense of humor becomes the most important part in dealing with very frustrating situation in the classroom. With children with diverse needs, sense of humor comes very handy, where we can diffuse very difficult and frustrating situation into lighter moments and move on with the process. One of the challenges that children with diverse needs that they face in the classroom is working at a pace which may be very different from the other students in the classroom. It is important for a child to be able to work at the pace that they are most comfortable, and for that to happen, a special education needs teacher needs to understand the pace of the child and to be patient and give them that time to complete that task, which may help in making the child feel successful. That might also help to boost the confidence of the child and experience the much needed success that helps them to grow and learn better. Also, to bring in that safety, it is important for the special education needs teacher to be vulnerable so that they can share their emotions. At the same time, the safety is created in the classroom where the child can share how they are feeling and they can work in collaboration to support each other's learning. The sixth trait that is really important for a special education teacher is being intuitive. To really have a deeper understanding of the needs of the child, children with diverse needs, they struggle with a lot of emotional and behavioral concerns which comes from the need to fit in the classroom. It is important for a special education needs teacher to understand deeply where the child is coming from, to understand what are the needs of the child, to be intuitive in a moment where the child responds differently, not to go on the behavior but also understanding where is the behavior coming from, what is the need of the child, and to act and respond accordingly. If you found this video helpful, do like the video and subscribe.